It's a teen talk skating podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, and welcome to episode number 53 of the Teen Talk Skating podcast. My name is Van Gogh, and I hope you all are doing very well. Now, I would like to start this episode, unfortunately, by talking about the plane crash incident in Washington, D.C. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but if you don't know, there was a plane crash incident in Washington, D.C. about 2 days ago, and many of the passengers on one of the planes that was in the accident, many of them were associated with figure skating, whether they were skaters, coaches, or other officials. And unfortunately, no survivors have been found. And, I think with a lot of other people right now, I am kind of at a loss for words. I am kind of in that state of shock that this has happened to our sport, that this has happened to our figure skating community. And, I think the entire figure skating community, myself included, is with the victims and with their families right now. And, this is an extremely unfortunate incident that has occurred. And it's going to be, it's just difficult to process. And I think that all our hearts go out to the victims and their families. And if you can help support, whether, you post something or you try to donate, I think it is very much appreciated. And so, yeah, I would like to dedicate this episode to, the incident and the victims of the plane crash and their families to honor them because they were very bright future for figure skating. And yeah, I think it is very hard to process for me and a lot of the figure skating community, but our hearts definitely go out to them. And yeah, let's go to our program of the week. Program of the week. Okay, so you heard the theme song, and for our program of the week this week, I have a program from Hong Chen of China. This is her short program from the 2023 Cup of China Grand Prix. This is a program set to Experience by Ludovico Einaudi. It is, definitely a big warhorse in the sport of figure skating. This music experience is heard like every other skater. Everyone kind of hates it, or they actually really love it. But I honestly believe that this is a really fresh take on Experience. It's the same music. I just think the choreography just goes very, very well. And I think Hong Yi-chen performs it really well throughout the whole program. I definitely get the vibe that she's very, very focused, laser focused on the goal of skating a clean program. But she doesn't allow that to kind of stop her from skating a good program. It does still feel artistically connected in the sense that it just flows on by like she's skating on ice beautifully. Her triple toe here is just so beautiful. I love a good triple toe, especially when the second triple toe is, giant. The second triple toe is higher than the other jumps. Going off with that much speed, and it's just beautiful to watch. The Lutz as well, a rip on Lutz, 2 arms above the head, beautifully done. And just, the general choreography just goes so well. I think the step sequence goes well with the kind of upbeat, increasing progression of the music. I think that is a very beautiful, like, connection, I guess, in the music. And I think that does kind of play along that gracefulness that Hong Yi-chen carries on the ice, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy also her sit spin where she kind of has one arm out during the sit spin. It's a cool position that it isn't, maybe that much more difficult, but it does add that a bit of like choreography that I like to see, a bit of uniqueness, having one arm out when you're in your gosh, what is it called? When your head is touching your knee. What is that position called? Can't remember, but when in that position, I think it does work very well, especially considering how well kind of she elevates that. Good show of flexibility, good show of grace, and I do think it is a very beautifully choreographed program. I think towards the end as well does show a lot of kind of artistically elements with a little bit of those simple choreographic notes that add to the overall program. And yeah, that is it for our program of the week. Please go check it out. Hong Yi-chen, her 2023 Cup of China show program. Go check it out after you listen to this episode, though. That was your program of the week. Okay, so now we are going to review the 2025 U.S. Nationals in Wichita, Kansas. And I would like to note that the very first episode of the Teen Talks Gang was a review of the 2024 U.S. Nationals. And now we are obviously reviewing the 2025 U.S. Nationals. So we've really gone full circle. I really do want to thank everyone, as always, for all the love and support on this very crazy venture of mine. I never thought I'd like be super famous, and I'm still not super famous, but I never thought that like it would actually kind of like get people listening. I thought like two people were gonna listen and then stop, but I'm still here. I'm still doing it, I guess, and I still love it. And yeah, it's definitely gone full circle. I'll see y'all in 2026, and we'll see where we've gone, right? But yeah, thank you for all the love and support. As for an overall event review, I did actually kind of like this U.S. Nationals. Wichita, Kansas seems like a great place to be. Though I will say, was this Kansas or was it actually the land of Oz? Because it was quite chaotic in this whole competition. And it definitely left me jaw dropped a few moments. I was like, oh, right. Um, I will say that I am honestly kind of sad to see that the seats were not super full. I'm not sure if it was about the prices or the accommodations or kind of what was going on, but the seats were definitely not full in the arena. I wish they were. I wish we got to see that, but unfortunately, it did seem like quite a small arena with just the front rows kind of seated. But still, good competition. I thought the overall stream this year from NBC was really great. We had a lot of behind the scenes footage live with Adam Rippon, who I think was a great choice for someone to do that. And then we had a lot of good interviews as always with Andrea Joyce and Andrea Joyce, sorry. And I feel like she's just a bubbly. I would love to get interviewed by her because I feel like she's so bubbly and fun to talk to, maybe. And yeah, just seeing this U.S. Nationals went by really, 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 really quick. But it was a really great competition to watch. There was also a moment they kept on putting like heart rate monitors on the coaches and like family members in the audience, which it was kind of fun to see like people's heart rates, I guess, but like it was also super random. Like, I don't know why, like, now, like, why not somewhere else? But, like, heart rate monitors on the audience. I understand that they were trying to add a little more, I don't know, effect, I guess. So, watching the skating, a little more entertaining effect. Not sure if this was, the best way to go about it, but heart rate monitors, sure. I don't know. And then, as well, as always, we got giant amlactin lotions in the kiss and cry. But, yeah. Okay, time for our, discussion of all four disciplines. I feel like I have so much to say about these four disciplines because so much happened. I tried to watch as much as I could. Unfortunately, I did miss pretty much everything on the Saturday of US Nationals. I went on a family little thing, and so I kind of missed the Saturday, but I did get to see Thursday, Friday, and Sunday events. As much as I could. I at least sat down in front of the couch for like, I don't know, maybe 10 hours in total. Okay, for the men's event, I will say, unfortunately, Jason Brown did withdraw from U.S. Nationals, which made me super, super sad. He unfortunately had equipment issues, but I totally understand. It is better than being an injury. I'm glad that it was equipment issues and not injury. And we will definitely see what happens with Jason Brown later this season, and I'll mention that later. Okay, in eighth place in the men's event was Liam Kapikis, who was fifth in the short program with a very clean skate, one of the best he's ever had. It just really showed how much he's improved. I feel like Liam Kapikis has been around for a while, and I feel like that short program really showed how much he's improved. He was 12th in the free skate after two falls, a pop, and a few step outs. I did like his free skate music. It was, I think, The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel, I believe. I saw some people not liking the music in like Reddit and stuff, but like I did like the music. I felt that it was fun, it was original, and it was an overall really good fit for him as a skater. I really do hope that he does get more assignments and he gets more experience and consistency as we continue to see his career flourish. Eighth place, good result. Obviously next year hoping for better, but I really do like seeing Liam Kabika skate. In seventh place, we had a skater who has made great strides on the junior level. Here at his senior debut, an impressive one at that. In seventh place, we had Jacob Sanchez, who, as I said, on the junior level, he won the junior Grand Prix final. He, medaled at junior events. He won a Challenger Series at the Talon Trophy. Um, Here in senior nationals for his debut, he had a clean short program except for a fall on the step sequence. He was sixth place in the short. A very clean free skate except just for one pop triple axel into a single axle. Um, but I think the important thing to note here with Jacob Sanchez is that he wasn't meant. We probably weren't expecting him to podium at all. But it's just kind of being able to see the future of Team USA skating and seeing the future of what's to come. I think Jacob Sanchez is being seen as that future to come and a really good program for him. No quads, but that is totally okay. And he will be going to Junior Worlds, where I feel like he is one of the favorites to win there. And obviously, he will continue on the senior level later in his career. In sixth place, we have a name that we've seen for a few nationals, but he has never really had that big break yet. And that's Tomoki Hiwatashi, who had a really great performance at this US Nationals. He was 10th place in the short after a fall on an under-rotated quad toe, but he had a very, really good free skate. Aside from an invalidated double axel after a foot down on the triple axel, he tried to do a triple axel, double axel combo. After the triple axel, he did put his foot down, and so the double axel did not really count. I agree that his jumps are very wild and very scary to watch, but he did get most of them done, so I do think that is something. Is he the most consistent skater? No, but I honestly have never seen him skate with so much passion. I definitely think that has changed in his skating. I just felt that he was more there in the present, in the moment when I was watching him. His free skate was themed with an anime. I don't remember what anime, but it was kind of like robotic themed, I guess. The choreography was creative. It was interesting. It was fun. I definitely think he connected to it. I think that made me connect to it too. Um, and I definitely want to see more of him going on into the future. He did win Junior Worlds, I think 2019, I believe. And, he's been around for a while, going to a couple Grand Prix, Challenger Series, things like that. Getting that big break will be really great for his career. I do think that this is the step in the right direction. I think consistency wise, he isn't the best, but that is something he can definitely work on because that was a really great free skate. And it was very fun watching him skate. I just felt that he was more there than he's ever been. I think he really hit on the mark in that free skate. In fifth place, we have a very seasoned competitor. I believe he has had the most experience out of anyone in the field here, and that is Jimmy Ma. We've seen Jimmy so many times. We've seen Jimmy do programs Black Swan. We've seen him do Attack on Titan that's gone viral. We've seen him do Turn Down for What that went viral. And we've seen him so many times in so many ways. And he really does bring that experience to the field that I think is quite irreplaceable. That is obviously something that skaters have to grow into is getting that experience. And so, here with Jimmy Ma, he was third place in the short program after a very great skate. He scored 91 points there. With a really great skate, landed his quad toe there. It kind of went viral, very fun music. I just thought that it just showed what Jimmy Ma's good at, and that is performing with an audience and performing with the audience well. Jimmy Ma is that skater who we've seen as like the very fun, upbeat guy, and I think that short program showed who he is inside and showed just how skilled he is as a skater, and kind of getting that audience to go along with him. And in the free skate, he was obviously on the podium with third after the short program. He wanted to stay on there after the free skate. He did end up seventh in the free skate. He just made too many jump mistakes, unfortunately. He did pop a quad toe into a double toe. But in regard to that, I don't think that, that is going to deter him at all. I hope he keeps on skating, and I think that third place in the short, really gave him the confidence he needed. Was the free the best? No, but still ending up fifth place is a really great result, especially at US Nationals. And I just think it's a joy to watch him skate. I think that's the important thing is that it's a joy to watch him skate and it's a joy to watch him skate very well. In fourth place, we have a skater who always seems to peak really well at nationals. He is kind of like a perennial favorite. I feel like in a lot of different skating circles, and that is Maxim Naumov. He did fall on a quad Salchow in the short program, which left him seventh place there. He rallied in the free skate. He was third there with just a pop double axel and a unclear edge call on his triple flip. Um, I think that that is something that Max Noma is really good at, is kind of getting that free together, even though the short program does not go well. Um, a lot of US men have similar talent, so I do hope that he gets more opportunities to compete. I believe he is going to fourth continent, so we will see him there. But yeah, really great result for Maxim Nama, another fourth place here at US Nationals. Hoping to get on the podium or the third, second, first next year. Get definitely fight for an Olympic spot, because I do think that he has the potential to get an Olympic spot if everything is skated cleanly, and he shows a lot more consistency. Okay, third place was Camden Polkinen, who apparently has a full-time job as a finance bro, and he's also a full-time figure skater, which I don't know what in the world. You can do both, I guess. You can be in the office and on the ice at the same time. Not at the same time. That's kind of weird. But anyway, Camden Polkinen. Um, you know, I think Camden Polkinen is a skater who has delivered in the past when it mattered, and this is one of those times when it mattered, because he was trying to put his name forward for Worlds, for the Olympics, etc. This is one of those times where it did matter, and I do think that he has kind of delivered when it matters. In the short program, he did get an under rotation call, unfortunately, on his quad toe loop and a slight error on his spin. He was also fourth in the free skate. He did pop a quad toe into a triple toe that was saved. It was incredibly, leaned in the air. It didn't seem that he was going to land it because of the axis issue, but really great for him that he was able to land it. I will say some of these jumps were a little shaky. The, GOE, maybe not the highest, a little bit shaky on some of them, a little unsure about some of them, but he did get them done. I think that's the important thing. Camden Polkinen is a good skater. He has good skills. He has good interpretation. I do think consistency is the only thing he really struggles with, but we've seen him do great like multiple times before. I don't think that is going to change. I do think that is going to continue as we go along. In second place, we have this who like the skater of the whole men's event for me. He's made such great progress this season, and that is Mr. Andrew Torgashev. Like, where did you come from, Andrew Torgashev? He just really does seem like a whole new skater. Earlier in the season, as I discussed in my preview episode, he did medal at Grand Prix France, and he got a personal best at NHK Trophy. Um, and so, coming up here, I think he was really aiming for that second place on the podium, and he did really, really well here. He was second in the short program with a clean skate there. Really great result. And then he was second in the free skate as well with another very clean skate. No mistakes made on any of his jumps. And it was just so satisfying watching him hit those jumps one by one by one by one by one. It was just so great to see Andrew Torgashev put together the performance of his career at US Nationals and prove like why he was deserved to be there, why he deserved to be on the podium. And so I really enjoyed watching him skate there. And so, I just do think that he just seems so much surer of himself than we've seen in the past from Andy Torgashev. He just does seem so much more confident than before. He's had success on the Grand Prix, success at Nationals. I do think that we could see quite the surprise result from Andrew Torgashev in the future at Worlds that he's gonna go and attend at major competitions. I think that the important thing for him here is to really solidify himself as that second place in the U.S. currently and put his name forward as a great skater to watch out for. And that is what Andrew Torgashev came here to do, and that is what he did, is put his name forward. Especially regarding, of course, the Olympics next year that he is aiming for, of course. And he definitely put his name forward. He impressed me. He impressed, I believe, all of figure skating. His free skate to Scheherazade, I do think that is so well executed. he got his quads done here. He got what he needed to do, and he got it done. And I think that is something important to know. He got good Jewy on these jumps. If he delivered a performance of this caliber at Worlds, this would go crazy. This would be a great score for him. And maybe technically he doesn't have the advantage over international men at least, but he does have the advantage, of consistency when it matters. And this is that time when it mattered and he could deliver. I think that's the important thing. Okay, in first place of the men's event in the U.S., we had Ilya Molina, who came in here as the one that was not going to be beat. He was impossible to be beat. There was no way. He had a clean short program that put him almost 20 points ahead. He had tons of room to make mistakes if he did even make mistakes. In the free skate, he did attempt another 7 quad free skate because he is a bit loco. He is absolutely crazy. Crazy. I don't know. And the free skate, he did fall on an under rotated quad loop. It was a very hard fall to watch. He did not look okay, but he did get up and immediately started skating again. But it was that quad loop is been a struggle for him this season, but anyway. And then he did try a quad sal cow triple axel as his last jumping pass. He got a quarter call on the quad sal, and then he did a slight step out after the triple axel as well. But overall, a good, good skate. It had good energy. It got the crowd moving. The vampire theme was going. He did do the quad axel at the beginning of the program, which was a very, very amazing quad axel to watch. It's just really, just showed the quad god. And so, with that, I do think that Ilya Molina is really going into Worlds with a lot of momentum. He has not been defeated yet this season. He would like to clean up his free skate consistency wise, especially that quad loop. I don't believe he's actually landed it successfully yet this season. I don't know if he's gonna perhaps change it just to a triple loop. That would maybe be a safer choice. Or if he is going to try to attempt that 7 quad free skate again at Worlds. But we will definitely see. I don't know if the 7 quad free skate is actually worth it in the long run. I do think that's something that he has to consider, is that if the jumps are not landed all cleanly or well, like, is it really worth it to do a 7 quad free skate? I do not know, unfortunately. But yeah, I do think that Ilya Molina is going to be a world champion again. I don't, unless major mistakes happen, he has that momentum coming in. I think that is the main point that I'm trying to make, is that he has the momentum coming in. And so against a lot of the other international men, Yuma Katayama, Adam Shawnfa, Daniel Grazel, he is, the one to beat and the one that seems quite impossible to beat. Being in the lead here by almost 20 points after the short is very extreme. Okay, I do think the main event of the whole episode has to be the women's event, because there was just so much tension in the air as we were watching these women skate. It honestly just showed how difficult this sport is. These women were fighting for every landing, every single component, every single possible decimal point that could give them a victory. I do think that this women's event was one of the most intense women's events I've ever watched domestically in the US or internationally. It's just so crazy to me. I was genuinely holding on to my breath at the edge of my seat before every single jump. So competitive here. And, I do want to know that it was competitive even without Isabeau Levito or Ava Marie Ziegler. If Isabeau or Ava were here, this competition would be absolutely insane. Hopefully they can be here next year. But this competition would have been absolutely insane if either of them or both of them have been here. And so this women's event just showed you how extreme this sport is. And obviously the depth of the women's field in the US is quite extreme right now. And it is quite just fascinating to watch these women skate their hearts out in front of everyone. And major props to all of them. Okay, in 8th place here, we had Elise Lynn Gracie, who came into here as a really big question mark. She had those great results at the Challenger Series this season, at the Nebelhorn Trophy especially. Was it Nebelhorn? Yeah, it was the Nebelhorn Trophy, I believe. What, Nebelhorn? Yeah, it was a Nebelhorn Trophy. She had that really great result on Nebelhorn Trophy with, I believe, like 213 points. That was crazy. And then she did okay at her Grand Prix. She made a couple mistakes there, and we hadn't seen her since. So we really did not know what to expect from her coming into this competition. In the short program, she did downgrade and fall, unfortunately, on her triple Lutz triple toe combination. I will say she kept the program going. I don't think that really did break from the program too much, but she did unfortunately have that fall and downgrade that really did reduce her score there. In the free skate, she did have a step out on the triple Lutz. She did pop a triple loop into a single loop, and she did get a combo call on her double toe at the end. That was like a repeat, or it didn't count because of the combo call. Something to know, I do think Elise and Gracie, it has been quite a season. Maybe it is kind of like the pressure because of that number one performance to perform extra, extra well. But she is a really good skater. Foundationally, I do think that she is a good skater. I do think that she is going to continue skating, to the best of her ability. And, this has been a big learning experience. Those Grand Prix, this Nationals event, lots of big, big learning experiences for her this season. And hopefully she can build back stronger. And I'm looking forward to seeing her progress. She is definitely still a very young skater, and she is competing on the senior level internationally, but she is still quite young. Lots of time to develop, lots of time to learn from everything that she's gone through. And I will note that Amber Glenn did hug her after her free skate, which is like such a wholesome thing to see. I do think that was very cute. In seventh place here, we had last year's silver medalist at nationals, Josephine Lee. Coming into this competition, I think a lot of people were also unsure where she would be, as she did seem to be one of those skaters who peaked at nationals. This year, maybe not so much, unfortunately. She did get just the main things were quarter calls and under rotation calls. She didn't pop any of her jumps and any of her skates. Just unfortunately, the under rotation calls. The judging panel this year did seem stricter, especially with some of the earlier skaters. I will say they seem stricter with under rotations and everything like that. Um, so Justine Lee unfortunately was hit by a lot of those calls, a lot of those under rotation calls that did leave her, low in GOE and base value, unfortunately. And so that's the main thing that really did affect her. But although she isn't the most technically proficient, I will say I just find something good and very simple and very nice to watch about Justine Lee. She did do a free skate to, I think it was Rack 2 Piano Concerto, and it did, it had that classical vibe that was just right. It's something simple, something easy, something nice on the eyes to watch is what I see in Josephine Lee. She does so well in terms of that, and I do think that she is going to continue to do that well, as we continue to see her skate. Again, another skater who is young and who we will see as the future of U.S. women's skating. In sixth place is one of the veterans of these nationals. She came into this event with not many expectations. She had, not really had a really great season so far, aside from some smaller domestic competitions, and that is Star Andrews. I think Star Andrews is just a star. That's what she is, right? A lot of people came in here doubting her. She hadn't had a great season, but she girl proved them wrong. You know what I mean? Star Andrews, she proved them wrong, and because she's the best, and I'm on the Star Andrews fan train, right? She did have an unfortunate mistake in the short program. She did a triple toe, single toe combo that did not earn her any points instead of her planned triple toe, triple toe. Her free skate, however, just showed how much of a fighter that Star Andrews is. She is an absolute fighter. It was all clean except for a fall on an under rotated triple loop that was quite unfortunate to watch. I know that she is not the most consistent, but I always look forward to watching Star Andrews skate because I think she just brings something different to the ice. She brings herself to the ice. Her Euphoria free skate, I feel like, was such a great program. The outfit was beautiful, and I do think that she can get further success in the future. Just beautiful costumes, great packaging, just great, 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 great skating. And yeah, that's my Discord. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Star Andrews. I hope she just gets more. I need more assignments. I need to see more of her because she has such great potential. In fifth place, we have a junior skater making a very strong statement in her senior debut at nationals, and that is Sherry Jang, who was fifth here in the short program with the clean skate. She does not have any triple triples, but she will develop well into them. Sherry Jang, her free skate was a Hunger Games theme, which was everything to me. I was just like, I love it. I love it. I heard the music. I was like, yes, yes, Hunger Games. Yes. I love the Hunger Games theme of Sherry Jang's free skate. What a great, I think she, it is, maybe Hunger Games is not like the super mature thing that I don't know, but I just think it was a great choice of music for her. She connected well to it. I think it was great. Her free skate did have a fall on a double lutz, a bobble, a bit of a bobble on her triple flip, double axle that she shimmied her way around at like nobody's business. She had an under rotation on the triple flip, double toe, and she did unfortunately pop a triple style into a single style. So yeah, mistakes on four, the jumping passes, unfortunately here. The other ones had really good Joe-E though. That was really good for her. Maybe not perfect in the jumps territory, but otherwise, I do think it was great. The expression towards the step sequence was ultimate. It was on fire to Can't Catch Me Now by Olivia Rodrigo, which is just up stuck in my head now. She is a junior. She is not age eligible for senior competitions for a while, but great to see a very big hope for future US skating. Obviously, I discussed Jacob Sanchez in the men's event earlier, and now Sherry Jing in the women's event. We have a really big future for US skating for sure. And a great reaction in the kitchen cry from Sherry Jang. She was very excited to see her score and to see that she would end up fifth place at worst, which is a very good result. And now for the final four women. The final four women, yeah, no words. In fourth place here we had Brady Tennell, who came in here looking for that comeback after the struggles with injury. She had been national champ twice before. Injury unfortunately kind of derailed her career, but she's building back up. She's building back strong. Here for Brady Tennell, she was second in the short program. She did get a quarter call on the triple lutz, triple toe, but she had a great performance of her short program. It is called Lord of the Dance, I believe the music. It is kind of similar to Riverdance, I believe. It's kind of Irish inspired as well. She's a great performance. I do think that before, not my favorite program, but Brady Song made me, when she performed it better than she had ever had before. Um, I do think in the first case she was fourth place. Just too many mistakes to keep her up on the podium. Unfortunately, she had a quarter call on her triple flip, a quarter call on her double axel triple toe, and then unfortunately a fall on her repeated triplets and a bit of a stumble on the triple loop. But she was fighting for every single one of those landings. I have never seen her fight so hard to stay on those blades before. I do think what an amazing show of performance. And even with the jump errors, I did feel very connected to her Nessun Dorma free skate. I just, there is this new spark I feel like in Brady now. I just like am so inspired by Brady now. There's this new spark in Brady now that I have never seen in her before. I do think before she was a great skater, but now she's a great skater with just a spark within her. And I just love seeing that she was fighting. She was fighting for every single one of these jumps, and she was not letting performance get away from her. And I will say, she just keep on fighting, Brady. Okay, I love your story and I love your skating so much. Just keep on fighting. I do think that she is gonna achieve a lot of success, and I hope she gets even more consistency after she fully heals from her injuries. In third place here we have, the woman who has really like made a name for herself, and that is Sarah Everhart. She came here off a great fall season, making a full senior season with good progress. Consistency is the biggest thing for her. She is a very consistent skater. In the short program, she was fourth with a clean skate. She did a river dance program that had shades of Jason Brown's, and that was just like the crowd loved it. I loved it. It was beautiful. Um, let's see. In her free skate, she did have a quite a big step out on a triple loop, unfortunately, and an unclear edge on her triple flip. But I do think despite the mistakes, she just seems so calm and collected throughout her skates. It definitely does feel like a strategic move for her. She doesn't feel like she's overextended by all the energy in the audience. She does skate so calm, so collected. And so her consistency that is quite very good, quite very good. That is quite good. I do think that her consistency will carry her extremely far. Do not count her out at all as a skater who, maybe doesn't have the it factor. She is the it factor. I feel like she doesn't have the it factor. She is the it factor right now. Carved out a really big name for herself these past two seasons, these great results at nationals. This third here is major for her. Artistically, yeah, she isn't, maybe the most artistic skater yet, but I do think, technically she is super solid, that it's very wondrous to see that technical ability. The artistic ability will come with time. I definitely feel like I hope she gets very good program next season that she can play along with. I do think that these two are a very good choice, Riverdance and the Firebird. I do think that those played really well with her, and I hope that she will continue to grow artistically as well. In second place, we have the comeback queen of the season, and that is Miss Alyssa Liu, who has not competed at nationals since 2022, where she withdrew because of COVID. We do not talk about Miss Coronavirus, but I, oh my god, this short program, everything, everything and more. You know what I mean? It was so memorable that I just like it's one of the most memorable skates at nationals ever. Like if you ask me, Jason Brown, Riverdance, Mariah Bell, Hallelujah, this, Alyssa Liu performing to Promise. This first place in the show program was such a beautiful skate. It was beautiful beyond definition. Um, and it earned her 76 points. She had a 5-point lead going into the free skate. Her free skate going with that Donna Summer theme, she did get a quarter call on the triple ledge triple toe, under rotations on the triple flip double toe, and I thought her lead would save her, but unfortunately she did make kind of a fatal mistake on her very last spin. She went up into her Bielman position, but unfortunately there was a big bobble and she had to stop the spin, which did reduce her base level of the spin and then her GOE. So yeah, very close result to getting first. But what an absolute joy. I don't think the result matters. The numbers don't matter for me. I do think that Alyssa Liu is such an absolute joy to see her back on the ice. She just, you know, I've never felt so sure about her comeback before. This is the comeback of the century for me. Just seems like a different skater. She's no longer, Alyssa Liu at 16 years old. She is Alyssa Liu as like Alyssa Liu. She doesn't, I just doesn't, she just feels so free now. I can't explain it. And there's just this absolute joy in seeing Alyssa Liu on the ice. It just brings the serotonin. You know what I mean? Yeah. You probably don't. That's probably a really weird comparison, but it just brings the serotonin to me to see Alyssa Liu skate as well. In first place, we love because she's my favorite. It is Amber Glenn. I do think Amber Glenn came into this competition with all the spotlights on her. She is national champion from last year. She had an undefeated season this year. The media was heavily focused on Amber Glenn. It was Amber, Amber, Amber everywhere. All the headlines, Amber, Amber, Amber. Predicted to regain her title. La la la. This season, as I said, she had not dropped a competition before this. First place every single competition because she is the queen, like nobody's business. Unfortunately, here she did have quite an uncharacteristic short program. Emery Glenn, I do think that she skated a bit conservatively in this short program. She was third here. She did quarter and get a double foot on her triple flip. And then she did a triple flip, or triple axel, sorry. And then she did a triple flip double toe instead of a triple flip triple toe. And just a bit shaky in the skating. I do feel like she wasn't as connected. She wasn't as in tone as before. One thing that Johnny Ware and Tara Lipinski did mention on the broadcast was that defending a title is harder than gaining your first one. I do think that is maybe the case what happened in the short program here with Amber Glenn. Just uncharacteristic, but it wasn't the best, but it could have been better. And I hope that I do think this is learning, this is growing as a skater as well. But I love her, so who cares about one bad short program? She was first place in the free skate, the only mistakes being popped triple loop, single axle, double axle instead of a double axle in the middle. And she did unfortunately fall on a final quarter call on the triple loop, which was so devastating to watch. She had landed everything basically, and that last triple loop fall was extremely devastating to watch. But she won by only, I believe, 1 point something something. Yeah, about 1.46 points actually. But Amberlin fought for everything in that free skate, and I do think that is quite impressive. She was first overall. Definitely just kind of survived a scare. First competition this season where we felt like it was a bit unsure whether she was going to win or not. Something about the broadcast, they did say a hip injury or something. I have no idea. I hope she's doing okay. I kind of want to devote a segment to kind of the Alyssa versus Amber situation. A lot of people were fighting over which one of them should win. Some people said Alyssa, some people said Amber. This was so close to me. I do think Alyssa Lee, she had the much better short program. Amber Glenn, she had the much better free skate. This was so close that I could have seen it either way. And either way, I think I would have been happy because I love Amber and I love Alyssa. But both of them are going to go to Worlds now, and both of them have put their names forward for the Olympics. So I'm not mad at all. But I love them so much that I wouldn't have cared who won. I think both of them are winners in my heart. You know what I mean? Yeah. So okay, so I'm actually recording the pairs and Iceland section after the men's and women's section, like a little bit after, because I had to go do something for about an hour. But we are back, and I normally would record it all in one take, but it's fine, like because I gotta catch my breath. You know what I mean? Not really, because I actually talked for like a whole hour, but it's all fine. Anyway, just for a brief rundown of pairs and Icelands, I know I really don't care about pairs, and like I barely care about Icelands. Not no hate, no hate at all. I'm sorry, I just like single skating better. But I want to run down the pairs at U.S. Nationals because oh my gosh, pairs! What happened? What happened to you pairs? And y'all said pairs in the U.S. were not interesting. If anything, I do think that this pairs competition shows you that pairs is definitely competitive in the U.S. and it is a very reviving field. I always say, like every episode, that pairs in the U.S. is the renaissance field of figure skating. It is experiencing that rebirth after a lot of teams retired. King Aaron Fraser, King Gribble the Duke, they retired, and now these new pairs are coming on. So in fifth place here in Paris, we had the team of Shin and Nagi. Audrey Shin, formerly a single skater in the women's event, she is making her pairs debut at nationals. This team, they were fifth in the short program with a slight bobble on the twist and the death spiral, but they were a very impressive third in the free skate, just fall on their triple toe, double axle, and an error on the triple salad throw. But a very developing team who will continue to get better. Good result. Fifth place for their new partnership is really good, especially that third place in the free skate. Really good result for their new upcoming partnership. Oh, can't catch my breath. In fourth place, we had Shannon Howe, who have been four continent silver medalists twice. They really came into here with an okay fall season. They were still recovering from some injury and some inconsistency issues that have been plaguing them over, the last seasons or so. But I'm really looking forward to them improving even more as we go along. They're a really good team, and we've seen them compete so well before. Maybe fourth here wasn't the result they wanted, but it is improvement. They were second in the short program here with just a quarter on the side by side toes. They were fourth in the free. Unfortunately, they did pop both of their side by side jumps, and their throws were not done very cleanly. And so they're looking to build back next season and re-achieve some of that former success that we all know that they have. I do think the pairs competition for Olympic slots will be competitive. I do think the U.S. is not really expected to get 3 slots in pairs. It'll probably be 2 slots in pairs next year at the Olympics. So it really does seem like it depends on which 2 pairs go. And I do think that will be a very competitive battle to see which 2 pairs will go to the Olympics. In third place, I do think this is quite a big shock, and that is the team of Ellie Kim and Danny O'Shea. They did come in here as the expected winners. They had qualified for the Grand Prix final. They had an amazing fall half of the season, just showing how much progress they made. Just here was not the best competition. They had a clean short program that put them in first place, about 8 points ahead the rest of the field. But ice is slippery. I think that is the main thing. I said that in the very first episode of a Teen Talk Skating. I remember I said ice is slippery. And so just unfortunately in their fifth place free skate, they did, unfortunately get some errors on a lot of their elements. They did have an unfortunate fall on a lift that did get invalidated as well. But still, I do think that this third place result for Cam and Oshia should not deter them at all. They are still a very strong team. They feel more connected between each other to me than they have been before. They do feel like a very, very good pairs team instead of just 2 skaters getting together. That's the main point I see them for them now, is to see them together in 2 instead of just 1. And so they are really looking at Worlds for redemption for sure for Cam and O'Shea. This competition was not the best at all, just with that free skate was really unfortunate. That short program was amazing, the free skate not so much. But looking at Worlds for redemption is really the main thing that Cam and O'Shea are looking for. My mouth. Anyway, my mouth hurt braces. Ugh. In second place, we had the team of McBeath and Parkman. Not a lot of people had predicted them coming in as potential medalists. They did have some inconsistent results in the early half of the season, with varying scores here and there. Here at Nationals, they were fourth in the short with a good side by side, or unfortunate errors on side by side triple toe and the throw triplets. They were have a very good fight for second place in the free. They did downgrade their attempted side by side triple flip, which is an element not a lot of pairs are competing with. So that is quite interesting to see that. They did have very slight spin and throw triplets errors, but it's very good to see another US pair rising up. Obviously, maybe not a lot of people predicted them as potential medalists, but now, again, as I've been saying this whole episode, putting your name forward at this Nationals is super important in 2025 Nationals because it sets you up for the next season, for the next 2026 Nationals, and then that will be used to pick the Olympic team. So maybe McBeath and Parkman are really going to pull some surprises. Maybe this is the start of their journey of pulling surprises. I don't know, but I do think McBeath and Parkman have something to say. In first place, wow from this team is Efimova and Mitrofanov. They were third at Ski America, and they had some okay results. And then here at Nationals, wow! In the short program, they were, I believe, third with a downgrade on their triple toe in the short, but they just put it all together in the free skate. Only error was a quarter and an under rotation call on the triple style double axle sequences they had, but they put it all together. The lifts, the throws, the death spiral, just put it all together. Um, it just felt amazing to watch them skate. Best performance of their free that they've ever had to just suis malade. I think it was just great. It was just like, wow, like great for them because maybe they are another team and other people said maybe they were expecting the medal and just not get first, but they've proven people wrong that they can put out a really good skate. And if they can repeat this type of performance at nationals with even better side by side jumps, or at worlds with even better side by side jumps, could be very surprising to see where they end up. And so I do think that is very, very competitive. So that was a very quick rundown on pairs. Let's go for a very quick rundown on ice dance. In ice dance, we actually had a very surprise guest commentator, Gabriela Papadakis, 2022 Olympic champion for France, but she was actually a guest commentator for U.S. Nationals. It was a very nice surprise to hear her voice. I was like, is that Papadakis? I was like, dang, they got her on here. Anyway, ice dance. We knew that this would be a very extremely competitive and cutthroat competition, and yes, it was. It really just shows you how strong the ice dance field is in the US. We have, skaters from across the country in these ice dance teams that would be extremely competitive internationally, yet they're only breaking maybe seventh or eighth in nationals, right? And so at this point, I have no idea who will, get the spots for the Olympics. This field next season, I will be keeping like eagle eyes on, watching all these teams next season because they could end up anywhere. For a very quick rundown on the results of ice dance, in ninth place we had Nesset and Markelov, the junior world champs coming in for their first senior nationals. They did really well for themselves. Good future for Team USA. I do hope that they are going to get more international assignments and not just because they were junior world champions. They're not going to get more because they aren't going to go there again. But yeah, really good future for Team USA. In eighth place, we had Peyton Bai, a really good team. But honestly, I feel like the judges and their GOE is just never behind them. And that makes me mad because I do think Peyton Bai is a really good team. They are a really good team. I wish they got a higher score. Hopefully, they will compete further. Because I always find something redeeming about them, and they're just good. They're just so good. Like, I wish they just got better. They just deserve better, okay? In seventh place, we had the newer team of Wolf Kostin and Sarevsky. They were improving on their ninth place last year at Nationals. They are skating as juniors internationally, but they will grow into seniors internationally as they progress. I do believe they are going to age out of juniors, or maybe next season, I kind of forgot. But again, another team to look out for the future as they are quite young. They are very, very young, and so they are someone you want to watch out for. In sixth place, we had the team of Emily Brady and Ian Somerville, who came in here as one of the favorites for third place because they were third place last year. A lot of people thought they could repeat it again. They just didn't get there this year, unfortunately. Seventh in the rhythm dance, but fifth in the free got them sixth overall. Again, another team, I do think that the GOE thing was just the main thing. GOE was kind of a big deciding factor. Obviously, in ice dance, you know, ice dance is the discipline where a lot of competitors are competing with the exact same elements, and so GOE is the main definer. And I do think that Brady and Somerville just did not get as high Dewey as the rest of the field. Not the end of them for sure. They could still get a great fight for that Olympic slot next year. They went to Worlds last year, but they will not be going there again, unfortunately. But they could still fight for that Olympic spot next year, depending on how everything plays out. In fifth place, we have a very strong breakthrough for the sibling team of Una Brown and Gage Brown. Their best result at senior nationals so far with the fifth place finish, which I do hope that will give them more international assignments. I do feel like the U.S. doesn't give the Browns enough international assignments, U.S. figure skating, but still great. In fourth place, we have the team of Amelia Zingas and Vadim Kolesnik. Very strong team, very, very big fight for third place, very close between fourth and third. We all knew that this fight between fourth and third place was going to be intense, and it definitely was. They were actually tied in the dance for third with the next team that I'm going to talk about. Strong free dance just needed more Jewy than they got. I believe they were about 4 points behind in total in Jewy, but they were stronger on components, but they needed just a little bit more Jewy or a little bit more components to go get them to third. But again, a really strong team. They have a very strong case for the Olympic team, even though they did not place on the podium here. In third place, we have Green and Parsons. This third place spot was an absolute fight from these teams, and Green and Parsons certainly earned that. They had an exact tie in their dance, as I mentioned, with Zingas and Kolesnik. They really needed a great free dance to be in third, and they delivered that great free dance. They were third there for third overall. They will be going to Worlds. This does not mean they're set for the Olympic team, Green and Parsons. It does put their name forward as, more, not more, I don't know what I'm saying. But it does put their name forward, I guess, as that for that Olympic team. But next season is, the fight is not over. There is a further fight for sure. In second place, we have the very strong case for the second Olympic spot, very much the number 2 team in the U.S. of Carrera and Ponomarenko. Really great team. Some judges here actually put them first in the free dance, which I think is very shocking and very interesting. A very interesting statistic. I believe 2 judges put them first or 3, can't remember, but very good result for them. Their Carmen is kind of becoming iconic, I feel like, in the community. In first place, we had the team of Chalk and Bates, who I believe were actually sick this year as well. They were sick at Nationals last year and competed. They were sick this year and also competed. But they did really great despite the sickness. There was no major issues. Again, a very strong case for another world title for them, especially at home in Boston. And it really has solidified their status as one of the best U.S. ice dance teams like ever. They earned their 6th national title this time, which is obviously a huge result. And I do think a lot of people are really enjoying their skating this year. And I do think that it's been a very smooth season for them, most of it. Okay, so your world team. For the men, Ilya Malinin, Andrew Torgashev, and Jason Brown. This is interesting because Jason Brown didn't compete at nationals. He's on what's called protocol. So he has to prove that he is able to compete at Worlds to get the spot on the team, basically. But if he is not able to compete or to show that, Camden Pulkkinen is sub number 1. So if Jason Brown's not going to compete, then Camden Pulkkinen will. For the women, we have Amory Glenn, Alyssa Liu, and Isabel Levita, who's also on protocol because Isabel was injured. And now Isabel has to kind of show her technical ability and how that she can skate to prove that she can still go to Worlds. But if that does not happen, then Sarah Everhart will be her substitute, which, oh my god, I don't want to think about women's at Worlds. Okay, your pairs are FMO Mitrofanov and Cam O'Shea. I think that will be a very great team. Hopefully they can get 2 Olympic spots. If not, maybe 3. I don't know. Crazy. And in ice dance, Chalk and Bates, Kara Ponomarenko, and they have picked Green and Parsons for their 3rd spot to be the 3rd person because they placed 3rd at nationals in their body of work and everything. I'm not shocked by any of these at all. I do think Jason and Isabel will be interesting. Both of them didn't compete at nationals. Both of them are on protocol. Both of them have to prove that they can skate here, etc. And yeah, that is all for this episode of A Teen Talk Skating. I know it was like I spent forever on the men and women and just like didn't even talk about pairs of ice hands basically. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Next week I will be taking a flight all the way back to Tallinn, Estonia to review Europeans. My frequent flyer miles are definitely racking up, but stay tuned for all the excitement in Estonia. But yeah, my name is Van Gogh. I hope you enjoyed this episode of a Teen Talk Skating podcast. I will see you next week in Tallinn, Estonia for a review of the 2025 European Figure Skating Championships. And bye-bye.